Okay, boys and girls, today we are still in that module 1 through 9 book. We are working on page 141. And today we are going to rewrite fractions with a common denominator. We have been doing this the whole time we've been talking about fractions. You have been doing this. So don't, get worried. This is not anything to stress about. We've been doing this the whole time. You know how we've been using our tiles, and we've used them so many times that we're getting really familiar with the fractions, and we can rewrite them with common denominators because we're starting to really know them just like that. Okay, so TV show hosts Ben and Isa are preparing small pieces of French toast from slices of bread. Ben cuts his slice into 2 equal sections, and Isa cuts hers into 3. But all of the sections were supposed to be cut into same size pieces. Draw a visual model to show what Ben and Isa should do to correct the sizes of their pieces of French toast. So let's think again about what they're saying. Ben had his, and he cut his into 2 equal sections. So let's just pretend that we don't have any strips. So I'm going to keep my whole piece, and Ben, he cut his in 2, and Isa cut hers into 3 parts. All right, and this is my whole, just for my reference. Okay, what could they do to correct it? So what it's saying is he's got his in 2 pieces, she's got hers in 3. Is there a way that we could cut it some more and then they'd all be in the same equal part? So think about halves and thirds, because that is just what they're saying. He had halves, she has thirds. When we see those numbers 2 and 3, probably a number comes to our mind, and probably that number for you is 6. We've used them enough. You've got them. It's okay. We can prove it and look at it. So if I have a third, like Isa has, 2 6 is equivalent to a third. And like Ben, he has a half, and we know half of 6 would be 3. So I know that I could use 6. So if I have a half and I have a third, what I just said was I know 3 6 is equivalent to a half, and I know 2 6 is equivalent to a third. So they could have used 6 to make them be equal. So we can just write that there. They could cut them into 6. It's hard to say that word. Cut them into 6. Because that's a common denominator that halves and thirds have. Okay, if we look at page 142. The circle represents all the people who watch the morning show. What equivalent fractions can you write to represent the different ways people watch it? So some people watch it on their computer, TV, or phone. 2/5 do the computer, 1/2 does the TV, 1/10 does their phone. Most people use their TV, don't they? Then computer, the fewest use their phone. And see how the number 1/10, or the fraction 1/10, is the smallest one. It's the smallest piece because it's cut into more pieces. Okay, let's think about what we could use non-zero multiples of 2, 5, and 10. So that means you're not using 0. So it just kind of means what are multiples, means you're counting by them. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, could go on and on. Let's count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now, if we're trying to find something they all have in common, I know to be a multiple of 10, you have to end in a 0. So I can look here. Now, what is a common multiple? And really, we want to find the smallest one. It's okay if it's not. So a common multiple of them is 10. When we're counting by 5s, 2s, and 10s, we say 10. Technically, we also say 20, 30, 40. All right, use the common multiple you found to write equivalent fractions. So we know an equivalent fraction is one that has the same value. And we know 1/2 is equivalent to how many tenths? It's saying use that. I know that there are 5 tenths in 1/2 because I know 5 is half of 10. You can also say 2 times 5 is 10, so 1 times 5 is 5. I did the same thing to my numerator and denominator, so that means they're equivalent. Same thing for 2/5. We're choosing 10 as our denominator. How many fifths will it take to have equivalent tenths for 2/5? 5 times 2 gives you 10, so 2 times 2 is 4. 4 tenths is equivalent to 2/5. Makes sense. You're cutting it into more pieces, so you're going to need more of the tenths. And then 1/10, well, we already decided to use 10, so we're going to keep it. That's the one we chose. And it says, how can a common multiple and equivalent fraction help you add and subtract? Well, we must have our fractions in equivalent form to add or subtract them. Because this makes them the same value. Like we said, cats and dogs are pets. Write a numerical expression using equivalent fraction that models all the people who watch the morning show. So we could say 5 tenths plus 4 tenths plus 1/10. That's going to give us our 10 tenths, or our whole pie chart that we have right here. Okay. All right, guys. So that's all I have for that lesson. Make sure you complete your homework for tonight and do your best.